think at the end of the day,
Yeah.
from an investor standpoint,
Yes.
it's about the value proposition.
Of course.
True.
Of course.
We have to stand in the shoes of investor. What they want profit, they want money, they want innovation, they want marketing, they want to capture all the market, surrounding the countries and all these things. So we need to have a very strong team as well back in the headquarters.
An investor or franchisee shouldn't go in there thinking that it's a hands-off investment, like a passive investment. Go in there, fully understand the business, get your hands dirty. Then, if it's a very strong brand and robust with that full level of support, you can then step back, bring in an operator, bring in a GM. Someone can run the business for you. That's the best.
Welcome back to the TFC Business Show. I'm your host, Reggie, aka your Chief Financial Coconut, and today I'm no longer lonely because I will be doing the whole thing.
You will lose your voice.
Yeah, I will lose my voice. In the morning, I eat the pipako, right? Because it's quite a lot of things going. So yes, Justin is back with us. You want to introduce yourself for all those that don't know you?
Hello, my name is Judson. I am not a podcaster. I am a marketer at Blocks21. But when your idol demands you to go and co-host with him, you join in.
I never demand. I ask, request, can I help? No.
Yeah, lah, help
But
lah,
you
help
have a
lah.
lot of marketing experience, more than Block71. Help
Yeah.
us lay the ground.
I am trained to be a marketer all my life. So I was in Grab, I was in Foodpanda, Singapore Tourism Board, and now I'm in Blocks21. I do B2B kind of stuff, and I help startups with their marketing strategy. So, and today, because we are talking about SMEs and two SME bosses, so that's why I'm here today.
Everybody must start somewhere, right? Eventually,
Yes.
you build your brand to become a brand that is household name, right? Everybody love the brand, and then and the franchise space, everybody wants to be part of a well-loved brand, assuming that it's better for business, lah, right? So yeah, everyone also want to cari makan, right? So. So with that, maybe our panelists, you could introduce yourself, the brands you represent, and all that jazz. Yes.
Hi everyone, thanks for having us. I'm Kairul. I'm the International Director of Marrybrown.
Yeah, Marrybrown. Last time I go to JB just to eat Marrybrown,
Yeah, very typical Singapore, just eat Marrybrown in JB.
Yeah.
Okay. Marrybrown is the fast food brand from Malaysia. So basically we are represent our country, country proud. Most government are supporting us to bring our brand not only to expand in Malaysia, but also bring the brand across 16 countries right now. So we are 43 years, still young in the market. So there's a lot of opportunities for us to expand our brand across and to develop more entrepreneurs out of Singaporean here to become an entrepreneur to own the brand of Marrybrown over here.
Okay,
Yeah.
fair. And just to pardon my very, very uneducated question, is
Please.
Marrybrown still in Singapore today? My memory of Marrybrown was at Tampines. There was one Tampines outlet. I love that.
Are you staying there?
Yeah, I stayed in Tampines last
Alright.
time, lah. Right.
We are still here in Singapore. If you are familiar with Sentosa Island, we are located at Siloso Beach.
Yeah.
Right below the iFly.
Ah, okay. So that's the flagship outlet.
This is flagship stores.
Okay, and you're looking to kind of go into more spaces in the heartlands.
Maybe back to
and all that.
Tampines. If you have a location, let me know.
Okay,
Yeah.
Tampines needs a Marrybrown. Okay, yeah, we'll go into the discussion later.
Sure, no problem.
And yes, Andrew, you want to introduce yourself?
Okay, yeah. Hi, Andrew Khoo. I'm chairman of the MUI Group and CEO. But these days, CEO, I think stands for Chief Experience Officer. Because, all the brands that we carry, the portfolio of brands, I like to inject that level of lifestyle and experience. And so MUI Group is our company. It's a listed company. But we have many well-loved brands inside our portfolio. One of them is A&W Malaysia and also Benjamin Barker here in Singapore.
Nice. Sweet. A&W Malaysia, that means the Singapore one is not under you guys now.
No, that one is owned by the corporate office.
Okay. Very interesting. A&W Malaysia is a well-loved brand, in Malaysia, right? So, I stay in KL, so I do spend a lot of time at A&W at the MCOP Mall that area.
Many people say that they have a lot of history and experience with A&W.
It's true.
Their first dating, first date, right? Lots of stories.
But I definitely want to go deeper into understanding, how you keep up the brand, build the brand further, continue to stay viable in a highly competitive market, all that good stuff. Okay, so maybe we start one by one, lah, right? So maybe Kairul, you want to start with us, share with us what is the business, how has the business evolved over time and then all that stuff.
So that actually we're talking about fast food. I think Andrew has to be agree that you will never disappear in the market. Okay, it will keep growing, innovations, whatever transformation that you name it. And, the people who come over to our places, they are be replacing the generation after generations. So I believe that most of the brand out there, actually, they're talking about what's the core values is most important, and how it drives the brand, to be relevant to the current market, the market demands and all these things. So it same goes to how you want to bring your brand that, to let people are still loved your brand. So I think right now, people are quite adventurous, all right? So they are not looking into the very typical food, more fusion food, more healthy foods coming out, all these things. So this is part of our own, not say challenge, but it's also opportunity for us to explore more in terms of our menu. By the way, we are still F&B, so we have to be innovation. Our R&D has to be really work strongly because we can see a lot of market out there, not only from Malaysia, but talking about overseas, come to our market and penetrate our market, and they take the portion of sharing, that kind of thing. So we have to be more innovative, all right? And then the most important, actually, what is your direction of the company? So as Marrybrown, we are franchising. So how we grow, how we expand, how we create more brand values is through franchising. So we have to make sure that, we will never miss any of the trade shows like this, and then know the market opportunities. And we have to know that, most of the country, they're really promoting SMEs, they're promoting on, entrepreneurship, so on and so forth. So we have to capture this both market, like either from B2B or from B2C. So we have to be more balanced on this part.
When you talk about innovation, right, because you're a franchisee model, I suppose your innovation happens in your HQ. Your innovation, I assume, is also innovating your menu, the way, your logistics, your supply chain, everything. But because you have so many franchises across 16 countries, I heard just now.
Yes.
How do you trickle down the innovate in the new knowledge to your franchisee and make sure that they follow through?
I can say that thanks to the technologies. We can't really separate with this. And the reason why, because we are stayed so far away from different countries. I do have franchisees in Tanzania, have you heard? Tanzania,
Yes.
East Africa.
Yeah.
We have in Stockholm, Sweden. We have in China, Xinjiang, all these other places. So how to make it close, of course, through all the online things. So I think that not that part of challenge at the moment now, right? So what we need to do is mostly like we have to stand in the shoes of investor. What they want profit, they want money, they want innovation, they want marketing, they want to capture all the market, surrounding the countries and all these things. So we need to have a very strong team as well back in the headquarters. Okay, we have more than 10 over department. We recruit different kind of age. We are still young anyway, right? So
You're not
the
very
young-
convinced, huh?
Yeah.
We're still young
because
in a way.
I sit next to Andrew. That's the thing. All right. So
Just look young.
we need to be innovative. Okay, in the sense of we come up with a more range of our food. So we are selling food anyway. All right. I'm talking about what kind of the things that actually different continents. Because I cannot simply like nasi lemak is so good in Malaysia. Okay. Any country, let's go for nasi lemak as your main menu. It doesn't work that way. So we are also want to hear from them actually, what are the most common food, staple food in different countries, and how we can blend together with our own R&D, to do the marketing.
Yeah. Like,
Just on this point on innovation, just want to say something. Innovation actually doesn't start at HQ per se. Innovation can start even with your franchisees and business partners. So we have that level of experience where, to be successful in these markets, you really need to understand the local market, and then you need to start to localize to that market, whether that's a product or service. And oftentimes you get a lot of good ideas from your franchise partners. So if you look at some of the QSR, which is quick service restaurants like us, like even A&W, in the local market, which is Malaysia, we are allowed to change the products and the menu offering. So there's a lot of variation that's allowed, up to 30-40%,
wow.
right? So that's where the innovation happens at the ground level.
Yeah. No, I mean, like KFC in China is so different from KFC in our part of the world, right? Like they sell porridge, sell youtiao, soybean. And I was like, what is this, huh? Right? So I think that is a big part of localizing across the board, right? In different places. And I think, Johnson, you got something about some Chinese businesses, challenging the quick service landscape.
Yeah, because recently I've been studying China QSR a little bit. There's this brand called, can say lah?
Can say.
I'm not sure whether whether you're aware, but it's literally it's a new brand that came out during the pandemic since 2020. They position themselves as a fast food chain for kids and for middle school children, but they actually want a pie from McDonald's. And they are purposely open in tier 3 cities only. So you don't find it in Beijing or Shanghai or any of these places. And their business was like, woo. And the shareholdings and everything, a lot of venture capital invest in them. So you mentioned that Marrybrown has presence in China. And so my question is more about, with regards to these kind of competitors, homegrown brands in China expanding so fast, how is Marrybrown reacting to these kind of localized kind of competitive landscape?
Yeah, and you see it in Mishwe, right? That just blew up everywhere. And because I live in KL, so I can tell it is eating into the Cha Thai market, it's eating into some of these local dominant providers, right? So we have all these global brands that start to see like, we can also do this thing,
Yes,
right?
yes.
So how are some of these more well-loved brands that is already here, that people already know, we grew up with these brands, how are you from the business side developing and staying relevant with all these global competitors coming in?
The company like us, QSR, okay, so that we know that mostly our customer profile comes from the middle age, okay, young people, young generation, all these people, and we are also have a team to say that, to do some survey out there, what they do really like actually, where are the places they would like to go. Okay, talking about the storm like boba tea, few years back, it's like everywhere you can see boba and all these things, right? And then now come up with all kind of new dessert, pies, whatever it is, come from different sort of the world, like Thailand getting more popular with all this ice caving kind of thing. So to be honest, actually, you ask people like me to do the R&D, it doesn't work, So because we are very like cendol, ice kacang, these two desserts only we know, all this one. But so when we're talking about these people, so what we need to do is like what you say is true. Okay, we know that a lot of people just pop up like a mushroom during the pandemic. Any kind of business they would like to do, right? And we know that actually this is how the market respond to them as well. So in Marrybrown, the loyalty program is very important. Okay,
Loyalty.
we create our own apps, okay, to stay relevant, to make sure that people have been rewarded. Okay, there is certain money that we need to invest into it, all right? So, because at the moment now, people love being rewarded. They love exclusivity. So if you are the member apps of us, so you might, be invited to preview on new latest promotion, new limited time offer, come to our exclusive event kind of thing. So people want to be this, and they do their own things like IG all these things. They help us in way of marketing as well. Yeah.
Okay. So essentially you're moving down that tech stack,
Yes.
similar to Starbucks, what Starbucks have done, Luckin, some of these other guys, McDonald's is very big, with the whole tech
True.
stack. So
Yeah.
that is the HQ's value proposition
Exactly.
to franchisees.
Yeah.
Okay, but at a franchisee level, it is still about profitability.
Of course.
Right? It is still about managing capex and risks such that
Yes.
we can recoup it back, right? So maybe from the two quick service restaurant type of experience, right? Can you kind of give us how much does it cost to open a Marrybrown? How much does it cost to open A&W? How does it look like, ROI, all that? Just give us some numbers to work with. Right,
Okay,
these two,
let me go for the high side first.
Okay,
which is
high side.
international.
Yes.
Maybe
Tampines.
maybe you want to open in Indonesia, neighbor countries, and all
Okay.
this, right? So actually, out from Malaysia, usually we will work with a local investor, which we give the exclusive right. Okay, maybe you heard terms of master franchise. That is very common. So of course, when talking about master franchise, exclusive right for the next 15 years, support from Marrybrown headquarters. So there is the region that you need to secure the rights. So we call it territory. So the territory fees, it can be as low as 300,000 US dollar. And it can be up to 1 million depending how big the region. Don't do that face. It's still cheap anyway in the market. Okay. I'm just kidding.
First time hear about.
And there's of course there's a franchise
it's the
fee.
territory, right?
Yeah,
So
the
the
fran-
whole of the wider Jakarta region or something.
Yeah,
right?
correct, exactly. Because for example, like in China, it's too big, so nobody can control the market the entire China. Same goes to India or even Indonesia. So many islands. So you can break it. So the master franchise, it can be the entire country, it can be the province, it can be the island, or it can be the city. Jakarta city itself, the population quite close to the entire Malaysian population, so you see.
Yeah.
So this is how we break it into it. There's a franchise fee, of course, US dollar 15,000 per store, and pretty much common, which is royalty 5% and 1% on advertising promotion. Very straightforward. The investment for the size average 2,000 square feet, around 300,000 to 400,000 US dollar. Yeah. Still cheap lah.
It's okay. We must talk about it. No paise, cari makan, right? This one. Okay, so
No, I think at the end of the day,
yeah.
it's about, from an investor standpoint,
Yes.
it's about the value proposition.
Of course,
True.
of course.
Right? And it's a multi-layer approach in terms of fees. But it has to make sense for both parties.
Yeah.
You want it to be a win-win.
It's true.
So of course you have your franchise fees, and then over and above that you have the ongoing royalties, you have the setup costs, all those things it's in that range. The stronger the brand is, typically the more expensive the fees will cost. Payback period could be anywhere from 1 year to 3 years, right? So that's the range, and every investor and franchisee should do its numbers, work out the calculations, and feel comfortable. You have to be confident in the brand and operating that brand over a period of time.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I think from a franchisor's standpoint, the principle, it's a level of support you can give, right? If you have a strong platform and infrastructure, you want to give that level of support to your franchisee. You don't want them to just take fees and then they just have to sink or swim, you know?
Of course.
So
of
that's,
course.
I think that's a key
Yeah,
proposition.
yeah. So from A&W Malaysia, are you looking for franchisees?
Okay, so ours is a slightly different.
Yeah,
we are a
because you are
master.
matured, right?
We're a
Yeah,
master
yeah,
because we're a listed company.
Yeah.
We're a master franchisee for the entire Malaysia territory, meaning that we don't sub-franchise. So we operate every single store.
Meaning, sorry,
that we're in.
you cannot own A&W, okay? It's theirs.
You know, but there's other countries and territories that we're looking at also. And so there's there's different models. Single unit franchise, master,
Yeah.
you know, or in a territory. So many different ways to do it.
Okay, so where are you looking at?
Well, Southeast Asia is an area of opportunity.
Okay.
India is one, you know, and further abroad. So there's a few countries that it's untouched. Because A&W right now is only in Malaysia, Indonesia, and Japan. So all the other countries are still available actually.
Okay.
For growth.
Okay, fair. Then from an investability, because we kind of talk a little bit about that, right? From an investment point of view, quick service restaurants are not lowest down the rung, right? It's somewhere in the middle in the whole franchise game. There's a decent amount of cost that goes into it, right? So just help us understand, right? When I plow in this type of cost, because we primarily speak to working professionals, right? Then they are looking to get out of their full-time job. Singapore work very stressed, right? So they after they make 10, 20 years, they want to look at, okay, is there a way out, right? So franchising becomes a thing, right? So from a quick service restaurant type of business, how does that really look like operationally as a outsider? They've never been this. I got the money. I'm gonna put it in. You know, operationally, how does it look like?
You see now, even in Singapore for many years back, as I mentioned earlier, right? When talking about master franchise, okay, it's a huge investment. I can say that. And of course, the ROI, if you want to calculate everything, so there will be times. So, but since that we are Malaysia brand, Singapore is so close to us, you know, that I can still hear my mother whisper, you know, back in Malaysia. So what we want to say that now actually, so we are giving a chance opportunity to more entrepreneurs here in Singapore to own single unit franchise. So that's what we are promoting this year during the FLA. All right. So basically like, I'm not going to see the package now, okay, later on.
Yeah.
Okay, but I'll communicate with you.
Okay.
You are
Put the
one of
link-
my
put the
target,
link
my
below.
prospect
Yeah,
actually.
Okay.
So this is how we want to create more business opportunity here in Singapore. So we are coming this year to give more, and then we can see the response. Actually, a lot of people that when they hear that, because when we say that we are looking for master franchise, that people straight away just leave you, right?
Only a certain caliber
Correct.
can
So
explore that.
I totally agree with you that a lot of people who are work, you know, obviously they have monies, okay. But how franchise is very beautiful model because why? You don't need to have like, you know, skillful kind of doing business and everything because everything is supported by the franchisors. We have more than 10 open departments, name it from project, marketing, logistics and everything, work hands in hands. All right. So franchise is all about transfer know-how. Okay. So you not only have a brand that you can start the business, you know, you have your customers ready, but also talking about that how you can enhance your skill as a business people. So we are doing like we holding hand with our franchisees, you know. So as long that you have entrepreneur spirit, capital, and then people. We will help you to hire the people, but we will train your people. So only these three. The rest is you can rely on the franchisor.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Fair. Any other things to add for
Yeah,
quick
no, I
service?
think the bigger the brand is and the more robust it is, the more comfort and confidence that a franchisee can have. But what I would say is that whatever business you go into, it's always good to fully understand and be hands-on. So even though the franchisee or investor may want to take a bit more of a passive, maybe they think it's a passive income or something, right?
I think people do think of it that way.
They do think of it that way, but I would advise you still understand the business fully. For example, if you say, for example, you take a McDonald's franchise, you actually have to go to McDonald's University, right? And you really got to get hands-on. So likewise, I would say an investor or franchisee shouldn't go in there thinking that it's a hands-off investment, like a passive investment. Go in there, fully understand the business, get your hands dirty. Then, if it's a very strong brand and robust with that full level of support, you can then step back, bring in an operator, bring in a GM. Someone can run the business for you. That's the best.
Okay. So you've seen too many people try too many ways, and this is the best way.
Yeah, you really like anything. You want to learn something, you want to learn a new skill. It's best that you really get your hands dirty and learn it.
I want to switch a little bit towards marketing and branding a little bit, especially because when you mentioned that both brands, Marrybrown and Benjamin Barker, are strong brands, and when potential franchisees hear about your brand, they want to be part of the family.
I vibe with it.
You vibe with it, you shudder with excitement, this kind of stuff. Because, but it takes a very long time to build a brand identity. It takes a very long time to figure out, number one, who you are, how you can convey this who you are to customers, and to sustain it. And I'll talk about Benjamin Barker first. Because one of the things is I own like 5 polo t-shirts from Benjamin Barker.
Okay, see what I'm wearing here, all Benjamin Barker.
Yeah.
Anyways,
And
Anyways,
the reason why I own 5 is because every time I'm at the Vivo City side, your store at Vivo City, I pass by, there's this scent, there's this smell that draws me into this Benjamin Barker store, and I just stay there, and because the smell is very nice, right? I just pick one and then pay already. So that's so actually when people think about marketing, right, especially in retail and offline and QSR, one of the things is that's very important is the way a shop comes across to your nose and to your ears. I'm very curious about the scent marketing side of Benjamin Barker. How long do you go and innovate this kind of scent out to make me want to
just buy.
yeah
well, sometimes we learn from the best in the industry, right? So the likes of Singapore Airlines, where you have that special scent. So
Singapore Airlines has a special scent?
Singapore Airlines also, when you go in there,
I don't know.
and so forth.
Okay.
So what we do is, these days from a retail standpoint, we have to engage the senses of all our customers, right? And it's not just visual, but it's also smell. And because people these days, I suppose attention spans are slightly shorter, so you have to grab your attention fast. That's why the store display, it's got to be popping, eye-catching. You come into the store, it's an attractive scent, and then you can draw a crowd in, right? So that's what we do.
When you say it makes a difference, right? How much of a difference? Marginal difference, or just want to give some color, because in the space of marketing, it never ends. There's always more things you can do. There are always more things to improve and all that, right? But I think for a lot of brand owners, or even for a lot of potential franchisees, they want to know, how much of a difference do these really make, from the bottom line perspective. Give us some color in the numbers.
Well, this is the first time I've heard Jason say, that it actually draws him to open up his wallet, right? But actually, the way we have to look at it is that it's everything together. It's not just one thing, one component. You build that brand story, and it's the intangible. Sometimes, when you walk into a store, you walk into a restaurant or whatever, it's the intangible, right? It's that first experience. And you feel at home, you feel comfortable, then you start to shop. And then we start to gain traction in terms of a loyal customer. So that's the way we look at it. Not just think about putting this in, and does it immediately translate to dollars? Not necessarily. I think it's that whole customer journey.
Okay.
And that's something that we do over a period of time, not immediately.
Okay. Mary Brown is just good fried chicken, right?
You know what? It's I think almost the same like what you mentioned just now. Okay. So this is something unique. Just imagine that you walk like maybe a few meters away, you can smell a good aroma of fried chicken.
Yes.
It drives you, it crave you, right? So this is part of our technique as well. That and more like technical. So when we set up the store, so where you're gonna put the exhaust hood, which directions, the more traffic flow kind of things. So it works that way.
You've
Okay.
tested it out. Oh
Yeah,
my goodness.
so that's it. I'm not gonna
No
reveal any
more,
more
no more.
secret. That's all. No more.
As in, so there's a methodology to where the exhaust chute is,
Not sure that there, but
where you can emit out the aroma.
exactly. So when we open something like maybe they of course follow the local municipality. Where is the thing, but that is supposed to be the way. So what kind of aroma that you use? Because I think it's quite common. When you go to a very good food restaurant, F&B restaurant, you can sense that kind of smells before you approach the restaurants. And that's part of it, lah.
Oh, okay.
A very traditional way.
Yeah, so maybe elaborate a little bit because it's not every day we have a retail, brand, sitting here with us, right? So, tell us a little bit more. What does it take for the retail franchise business? How does it look like?
Okay, the retail markets, I would say, is quite challenging these days,
Yeah,
right?
you go to a mall, you see the retail outlet only like 2 layers. so I want to know how do you make it work, right?
So the way we look at it is it's got to be omni-channel. You got to look at the whole online content plus the offline experience, and then we have to map out this whole customer journey. And for Benjamin Barker, we started off as a brick and mortar, very traditional retail business. That's why it's very important that every store that we do looks and feels great. And if you actually go into every single store, it's different. There's some key similarities, the DNA, but actually every store concept is different. And so that's where we start. And then beyond that, I guess every retail brand has to stand for something. You need to clearly understand your customer. Know your customer, and then become relevant to your customer. So over time, we evolve our product range. You look at now, post-COVID and even before COVID, a large percentage, we've changed our mix, our product sales mix from formal suits, shirts, formal wear to more casual now. You talked about polo shirts, you talked about t-shirts. So the casual range has become quite a large contributor for our business as well. And plus we also have accessories, and also we have a little bit of homes. So we've become more of a lifestyle. We start off as a gentleman's outfitter, right? Just curating very, very interesting kind of suits and shirts for men. But now we've become, I guess, more holistic in our approach.
Okay, so from that point of view, everything sounds good, right? But from a marginal increase in revenue, when you expand the suite, supply chain gets more complicated. But you think it's worth it? It's affecting the rev in a
We've
significant
never had
way.
better years since COVID, right?
Okay.
So you're right, you bring in more SKUs, and it's always that 80-20
Yeah,
principle.
yeah.
So we have to be very careful and mindful and be very disciplined that things that don't move, we will then have to cut,
Yeah.
right? Because we only have a certain size of store format. So we need to look at the numbers. Got to be very data-driven these days.
Okay, yeah, but the data-driven also never ends one. This data-driven tech stack can go very, very far. So maybe you can share some insights. How data-driven are you? Do you have sensors to check loitering time? How much people are interacting with a particular rack? Because that is as crazy as it can go these days, right? So from a retail standpoint, where are you guys?
That is true. We don't incorporate that yet, but we're looking at all those elements. But you're right. You can get heat maps. You can see where people are using, cameras and so forth, right? But a lot of data is coming in through our systems that we have that will capture the data. Then you have your BI, and now moving towards AI in terms of how you interpret the data. Actually, there's a lot of data within the system, right? But it's how you put that to use in terms of interpreting it. So there's a bit of that versus a bit of feel. Because, every season you come up with a certain range, a certain category. So you need to be in touch with the upcoming trends. So we have to have a balance between playing it safe. And the way we do it is certain cutting, certain shirt, maybe it's just a different colorway for the next season, and then we know what this can sell. Versus there's a new trend going in this area. Say for example, it's nautical or something. Then we try and go in that direction, but that one will be a bit more risky. Say for example, so we need to have a balance between playing it safe and pushing in product that we know can sell, evergreens, right? And identifying new trends, and then how much emphasis do we want to place on that? So, a bit of art, a bit of science.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, so actually one of the easiest way to know typically how marketers understand or predict trends is there's a heat map. We install a heat map on your website. And then we see how many, let's say, right, on average, let's say 100,000 people go to your website in a month. Out of the 100,000 people, let's say 70% go and check out polo t-shirt. It's a clear indication that they want polo t-shirt more than suits, for example. And then all the different cutting and everything. And so based on your website, it's a clear indication of perhaps to go and plan your next season. At least where the organizations I've been in, we look at our website as a number one organic kind of a telltale sign of what people are looking for. And I actually like your pivot from suits to more casual, because I was always wondering, like during the pandemic, everyone work from home. Everybody still now also work from home. So then,
where's the suit?
Yeah, where's the suit?
the
Don't need the suit, but I want polo tee. That's great.
Hey, during the pandemic, right, we were all stuck at home. I had to do a lot of my meetings via Zoom. But luckily, Benjamin Barker came out with this loungewear collection, which is kind of like collared, but very nice. You could just wake up in the morning and just do your Zoom with this, and you're almost in your like loungewear pajamas. So it works.
But talking about online, right? For QSR Marrybrown, we're definitely. I think I'm not sure. You can correct me if I'm wrong. You're listed on both Grab and Foodpanda in Malaysia?
Yes.
So typically, when you are listed on such platforms, they will give you also data signals to tell you whether people. But it's more internal already.
Yeah. Where is the hotspot?
Sometimes they would juice up the statistics to continue the relationship with you, right? And so when you have so many data signals, one from platforms, one from your website, one from your offline, how do you ensure that the mix is optimal to tell you a very accurate picture of where your business is heading and how you can forecast?
Okay, you see now that actually when talking about all these omni-channels and how we work with all the aggregators out there, okay, is to reach out as maximum as possible, the customers out there. And we can see that actually they are responding almost the same language, I can say that. The reason why, because of how you want to boost and what kind of product they want to push, okay? So you have to be more synchronized, okay, in order for you to know that, okay, whether this is the right target or not. You see, unlike retail, okay, because they have a few SKUs that they want to focus. Okay, for F&B example now, okay, this is the time that actually we will launch a specific products, right? So we try to push this product because it's exclusive during a limited time offer. So we try to maximize all whatever the platform, the aggregators, online, whatever it is, okay, to ensure that we can capture, and the most important, actually, we want customer to enjoy that limited time offer special, because we bring in new ingredients, new items, new menu, good price, good offer. So we want them to enjoy it. So when we can see that when customers respond to it, so definitely we are every day we're tracking a different platform. Okay, so then from there we know that what's the per day per stores. Okay, which other areas, whether in the urban cities, you can see the response slightly different if you compare to the suburb area. So that's how we compile together. So then how we want to bring another new things, which is speak the same language that the success that things that we have been tracking down. Yeah.
Okay.
I want to ask Marrybrown one more question.
Okay.
Yes.
Because I was never on the vendor side. I'm very curious when it comes to listing yourself on those platforms again. When it comes to ROI, marketing your own brand via your own social media channels versus putting money and listing your brand on Grab and Foodpanda, in terms of ROI, right? Which one is actually higher?
Okay, you see now actually talking about the ROI, yes, whatever the aggregators or delivery, you know that actually we see, let's say in the entire sales or revenues, we call that, right? How many percent come from delivery? Okay, and the numbers is different where the location you are. Okay, if you are close to your office and everything, okay, then you have to understand, you have to balance in terms of your investment, your physical store. When you are right at the city center, the average square feet is so much high investment. So you limited seats, so you are focusing more on delivery. Okay, so then that particular area, trading area, is slightly different compared to some places which are full of residential, but people a lot on dine in. So the proportion of how big is your delivery and your dine in, that's very important. So you have to carefully to invest. Okay, when you consolidate all the numbers, then you know how much that you need to invest and you will see the ROI. Definitely, yes, thanks to all our aggregators, because we play with all the big players like Foodpanda, Grab, and all these things. So they are very genuine, very transparent. They share the numbers with us so that we know that actually we put carefully to invest in any kind of marketing with them. So that we know that how much the ROI for us to get back. Yeah.
Okay.
I have to remember that actually it has to be win-win situation, customers and also the company.
But bringing it back to the franchisee, right? Because you are the brand, right? The brand owner, I will expect you to do all this hard work lah, promosi, all that, right? You must give me
Cari
campaign,
makan,
cari makan, right? Yeah. So from a franchisee, my benefit is not at that level. My benefit is the store sales, right? I need to see the rev come in.
Yeah.
So from there, right? Do you have some color for me to see, like, okay, if you run a promosi, agak-agak how much I will, see a bump in my sales revenue?
Okay, we are still in the fast food category, okay, which is now known as a QSR. So if you can see that the price and everything's right. So in order for us to do, because when we want to do any limited time offer, there is an investment coming into it, because we're not only talking about the ingredients that we bring in, talking about something new, special things. Not forget about all the marketing things that we do to boost the promotion, but we're also talking about the ROI for every time when we have a limited time offer. And at the same time, what is the benefit to the franchisees? Remember, they pay only the advertising and promotion fees, but what they will get actually more than that. Okay, so I don't want to put in numbers. Okay, if I put in numbers, it's easier for everyone to understand more. But just thought like this way, like you just pay like maybe 30%, but what you will get maybe beyond more than 100%. Okay, so that's how actually we reach out. So we want to ensure that every franchisees, there are benefit to every steps, every promotion that we do. So let's say talking about maybe 20% increase of their revenue.
Oh, that's a good number. That's a good number. Interesting. Can talk offline, huh? More details.
Oh yeah.
Right, yeah. But is just on the rounding it up, is Benjamin Barker looking for franchisees or
We are overseas.
Yeah, overseas.
In Singapore,
Okay.
we run all our own stores.
Okay.
But we're already in Australia, Philippines, Cambodia, and Malaysia. But we're looking at Indonesia as the next step.
Okay,
Yeah.
fair. Usually when people come in with this type of model, I want to ask them, right? Because there's a divide between same store sales and franchise own sales, right? So when it's your own corporate runs itself, and then you have another model where franchisees come on their own, how do you kind of like manage this interest on both sides?
Well, it's very
Good question, right? Good question.
it's a good question. But there's a simple answer to that. It's very clean cut for us. In the home market, say Singapore, it's all corporate stores.
Okay.
But when we go overseas, it's all franchise.
Okay.
So that's the way we do it. So there's no so-called difference,
Yeah.
and there's no conflict that way.
Yeah.
And then it's only about pushing in all that level of support to ensure that it's a smooth entry and it's a successful venture for everyone.
Fair. Okay. So do you, from your professional point of view, because you've been in franchising for so long, right? This is the best model. Don't have like a champo, some same store, some franchise in the same country.
It's all about alignment of interest, because sometimes and even from the standpoint of franchising, sometimes if you put the franchise units too close to each other, there's
Same
this
store sales
cannibalization,
erosion, yes.
same store sales. So from my standpoint, you want to avoid all this kind of conflicts as much as possible. Because like I say, you want a long-term success and a partnership with your franchisee. So I personally would try to avoid those kind of things.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay, fair. So maybe in closing, right, just want to hear any grand plans for some of your brand building exercises, going forward, because these brands everyone knows. You don't need to tell them, right? But to stay relevant is a question mark, right? So any big plans on specific to you? Don't need to have like
Yes, Marrybrown is a franchise company. So our main core business is franchising, providing more food to all the people out there, develop more entrepreneurs out there. So what we do is this year, I think our team is quite busy because we are confirmed with 3 new countries. We're going to open in Cambodia, Uzbekistan, Central Asia, and also in Middle East, Qatar.
Nice.
So everyone's very busy. So we are focusing overseas, but not to forget that how we want to develop back in our Malaysia country as well. More exciting menus come online. So right now, if you want to try the best satay in Malaysia, come to Marrybrown. Limited time offer again. Okay.
Best
So-
satay in Malaysia.
Yeah,
Better
that's
than
true.
kacang.
Wow, yeah.
Okay.
Offline, yeah.
Offline, we
Okay.
talk, yeah, offline.
So in Singapore, again, I can say that actually we come in a different wave this year. So we are focusing more individual entrepreneur out there who think that they want to own the brand of Marrybrown. They can come over and approach us during the FLA or just come visit our headquarters, just next to headquarters, Johor Bahru. Yeah.
Nice.
Okay, I mean, we have spoken about A&W,
Yeah.
we've spoken about Benjamin
You've
Barker,
quite a few stuff. Yeah.
but actually, we're also looking at other brands and other franchise concepts. So there's one very interesting one in Singapore I'm looking at, and maybe I'll just share my experience.
Yeah.
The way we assess the potential of franchising, right? There's 3 things that we really look at when we assess a upcoming brand. So one is durability. Does this brand have the potential to sustain over a period of time? Not as easy as it used to be because people's preferences change a lot faster these days, right? So that's the first thing that we look at. Second thing we look at is scalability. We want to make sure that it's not too niche, that these brands actually have the potential to scale and replicate and open multiple outlets quite fast. So that's the second thing we look at. Then the third thing, adaptability. We kind of touched upon this earlier, right? That when you go to other markets, you need to be adaptable because you have to localize. That's the secret. Can you maintain the essence of the brand, but yet you have to be adaptable to the market? So these are the 3 things to look at, DSA, when we assess new franchise concepts.
Okay, so what are you looking at then? What is interesting
That one,
to you?
I'll keep you posted.
Okay,
offline. Over satay. Okay, over satay.
Alright, okay. Thank you, gentlemen. I appreciate your time.
Thank you,
If
thank
our
you.
audience would like to connect with you, is LinkedIn a great place?
Yes.
Okay, so you can always connect with him in LinkedIn. And then that's it for this panel. Bye.